Okay, so in this video we're going to have a quick look at simplifying algebraic expressions like this one. The point of this video is to explain to my Year 7 class how they solve their homework. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through 8 examples, 2 for each kind of question that's on the homework sheet. So the first example, we have 2 times 3x. Now remember that when we have a number and a letter next to each other, that means 3 times x. There's a hidden multiply in between the 3 and the x. So if we write this out again, we've got 2 times 3 times x. Now we can't work out 3 times x because we don't know what x is. But what we can do is we can work out 2 times 3. So 2 times 3 is 6. And then we've got this bit here, which is times x. And as you all know, when we're working in algebra, we don't like writing the multiply. So we just write that as 6x. And that's it. Rather than go through all these steps, you could actually have just noticed, you could have done just 2 times 3, which would have given you the 6, and then put the x on the end. That would have worked just as well. And I don't mind if that's what you want to do for the homework. Okay, so here we have another example. 5 times 3 times t. Rather than go through the long approach, which I did in the last example, we're just going to show you the shortcut now. We can just do 5 times 3, which is 15. And then there's a t on the end, because there's a t here. So 5 times 3t is just 15t. Okay, this problem looks a little bit harder than the previous problems, because now we have 4 times w times 10. In the previous problems, this was the other way around. But actually, it doesn't make any difference whatsoever. We can still just do 4 times by the 10, which is 40. And we have this w here. So 40w. That's the answer. So, just to recap that, we did 4 times 10 times the w. 4 times 10 is 40, so that's 40 times w. Okay, by now, some of you might have spotted the pattern. Whenever we have a problem that looks anything like this, we just multiply the numbers together, and then any letters we just group together on the end. So, we could just do 7 times 3, which is 21, and then we just put the p on the end. That's the answer. Okay, so here we have a question that's very similar to questions 21 to 30. Notice now that we've got 2 letters in our multiplication sum and 2 numbers. So this is what we do. Exactly the same as before. We multiply the numbers together. So that's going to be 6 times 2, which is 12. We have a t here. So we write the t on the end. And we have a w here. So we write the w on the end. It doesn't matter which way around these 2 letters go. It could have been wt. It doesn't make any difference whatsoever. Okay, so here we have another one. Again, we've got 2 numbers, 10 and 3, and we've got 2 letters, x and y. So we just do 10 times 3, which is 30. And then we just put the letters on the end. So that's going to be 30x, y. And that is the solution. Okay, this kind of problem is without a doubt the most difficult algebraic problem of this type, you are going to encounter. It's harder than the previous example simply because, although we still have two letters, this time the two letters are the same. To start with, we do exactly the same as we did before. We multiply the numbers that we know. So we do 5 times 4, which is 20. Now normally we put two x's on the end, that x and that x, like this. But remember that when we have two pieces of algebra next to each other, there is a hidden multiply. Now, when we have a number, in this case x, and we times it by itself, well, we write that as x squared. Okay, so this 2 means there's two x's multiplied by each other. And then we've still got this 20. So that's 20x squared. Okay, so here we have another problem just like the last one. We have two numbers that we know, and we have two letters that happen to be the same. So once again, we just do 3 times 4, which is 12. Then we have an r, and we have another r. So that's just going to be r2, or r squared. Okay, have a go at all the questions on the worksheet. It's no big deal if you can't do them. I'd rather you didn't ask for any help, because really I just want to know how effective this video is at teaching you. So if you come in to school on Wednesday and you've only managed to do 20 questions, I'm not going to be angry, I'm not going to be annoyed. Just make sure you have a go and do as well as you can.